Okay, let's go over to Paul in Crystal Palace. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So, what did you want to talk to us about?
You never know it to look at me, but
Yeah, go on.
I have an ostomy bag.
Now, this is... I'm so glad that you have called, Paul. I am really, really glad you've called. And thank you so much for the courage to speak about this, because I don't think there is nearly enough spoken about colostomy bags and ostomy bags and ileostomy bags, and not really anyone really knowing what they all are. And also not really knowing how to ask someone what life is like with a bag.
Because mine's ileostomy.
Yeah, which means it's on a small bowel, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Mine's a result of bowel cancer, which most of the Radio London listeners know about, and so do the presenters. But it's supposed to be temporary. Don't know whether it's going to be temporary or permanent now at the moment, but they've got a few other health issues going on.
Yeah.
But people... Actually, if you say ostomy bag, most people don't even know what it is. Then you say colostomy bag,
and they
think,
understand.
Colostomy,
yes.
But then you say ileostomy, and they don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's a different.
They are very similar.
Yeah, so it's a different part of the colon, isn't it? So with your ostomy bag, how long have you had that?
Coming up for 2 years.
Wow. And did that take a lot of adjusting? And because the people that I know that have had bowel cancer and had to have, sometimes they've been temporary, sometimes they have been permanent. They've said that in some ways that bag thing is actually more difficult than some of the other challenges they've had with their cancer treatment.
No, to me, the initial month or so was odd. But after that, it becomes second nature once you get used to dealing with leaks and stuff like that, and get around the terminology.
Yeah.
And
has it changed?
Second nature now.
Has it changed the way that you see yourself? Like I've met so many young people. I've met people that are going off to uni and they've got their colostomy bag, and I think, because I've got Crohn's disease. I've had big section of my bowel taken out, but I've managed to not have to have a bag so far. But I wonder for the young, like when they're 18 years old, I think, that must be really hard.
Yeah, I think the younger people struggle with it more than the older people. I know there was a case of a young guy who asked for he couldn't live with it, and I think he attempted suicide, and then he was on life support, and then they asked for the life support to be withdrawn. I think eventually he did pass away. So
it can be really devastating, can't it? But many people, like you're saying, you've got used to it. You've normalised living with a bag. Yeah.
In fact, I don't really find much difference.
Well, that's amazing to hear. That is really good. And it goes to show how we can adjust and normalise these things that if you told us 5-10 years ago this is what was going to happen, you'd be thinking, oh gosh, that won't be me. I wouldn't cope with that. But you have coped with it. Paul, thank you so much for calling in. It's so lovely to hear from you this morning, and just for you to share the story. Well, we started off with some deep stuff,
Thank you,
stuff.
Paul. Thank you so much. I didn't actually. I'm so interested listening to you and Paul talking, because it's two people who really, really understand what this is like. Because throughout so much of the time I've known you, it's been a possibility that, where Paul's at could be where you're at. So you really understand it. So thank you so much, Paul.